What is talent? How do we identify talent? Do we really know what we look for? Becoming good is possible for much more people than we think. The decisive factor is who wants it most, who's willing to invest the most. Because what is a winner really? And what are the real critical success factors for developing high performance? Talent exists, but it exists everywhere. So I became kind of obsessed with this. I decided to quit my job. I spent the last pennies I had to book 6 flight tickets. And then I traveled around the world for 6 months to live and train in what I call gold mines. And a gold mine is a tiny place geographically that just produces one world-class performer after another. I started out in Ethiopia because it turns out that 4 gold winners in middle distance running at the latest Olympics in Beijing all come from the same village in Ethiopia with 30,000 inhabitants. 35 of the world's 100 best female golfers all come from the same area around Seoul in South Korea. Every second time the world's best footballer has been awarded, the prize has gone to a Brazilian. Then there's one athletic clubs. They train on diesel-scored grass tracks in KINGSTON, Jamaica, and they produce more or less all the world's best sprinters, the fastest people on earth. And finally, there's one Kenyan tribe that won all gold medals at the Olympics in 3,000-meter steeplechase. So as you can see here, it's me running back of the pace again. If you want to know how it feels to get your ego destroyed by 14-year-old teenage girls, you should go to ETHIOPIA in Kenya and go for a run. Then you will know. So this is how the gold mine expeditions look like. So what can you learn from this? Because I mean, you're in business and this is sport. So today I made a bit of a list of some of the demands that a world-class athlete is facing. And if you just take a few moments to read through the list, I'm quite sure you will realize that is very close to the demands that you are facing in your job. Because this is not that much about golf or football. It's mainly about the underlying mechanisms that drive high performance and a gold mine. I think we can learn a lot from that. And looking around the landscape in business as well as in sports, I believe that people typically do 4 mistakes. There are 4 misconceptions when they try to build high performance. First of all, they don't know what talent really is. Secondly, they don't know what to look for. They look for the wrong things when they identify talent. Thirdly, they underestimate the power of practice. And they have a looking good mindset. And that's what we think. When we look at something that's good, it could be an X factor, it could be in sports. It's very natural for people to lead that performance back to talent, innate talent, with the same automatism as we lead bacon back to pigs. The question is that really true? And to those of you who wonder why you don't play golf as Tiger, I would suggest that it has not that much with you to do actually. To be honest, I don't think it has that much with Tiger to do either. First and foremost, I think it has something to do with that your father was not Earl Woods. Doesn't mean that talent doesn't exist. Talent exists, but it exists everywhere. The second gold mine concept is about how to identify talent. Just take Assefa Powell, the world record holder on 100 meter before Usain Bolt. When he was 17 years old, no colleges in Jamaica would take him in because they thought he would never make it. Ronaldo, 3 times awarded as the world's best football player. When Ronaldo was 15 years old, the biggest Brazilian club, Flamengo, refused to pay his bus ticket from the favela and to the training ground. A bus ticket, return ticket, is worth like 50 pence. So do we really know what we look for? The question is, how do we spot a superstar who's not yet a superstar? It's easy to spot people when they're already superstars. But before, what should we look for? This guy, he knows a lot about that. His name is Stephen Francis and he's the head coach of the world's most successful athletic club, MVP Track and Field Club. Mr. Francis has 2 principles how to spot potential. The first principle is put hunger above skills. This is how it looks in Jamaica. I mean, I came out there in the morning, they train at 6 o'clock, I'm there 5:30. And I look around and I say, it can't be here. The only thing I see is a big grass field. I think, where the hell is the running track? Then I realize 10 minutes later, I'm not in the wrong place. I'm in the right place because we think that the best sprinters in the world trains in luxury fancy facilities. They don't. They train on a diesel-scorched grass track and in the gym back from the Jane Fonda days. Then I ask Mr. Francis, why are you not building a proper running track? And then he says something interesting. He says the biggest mistake they do in the US and Europe when they build performance environments is to build these luxury fancy facilities. Because a performance environment should not be designed for comfort, but for hard work. I need the necessary facilities to do the job, but then something that tests people on who wants it most. And it's interesting to discuss. I mean, should a performance environment be designed for comfort or for improvement? And how can we build mechanisms into an environment that tests people on what really drives them? If it's not talent, what is it then? That's the big question. These guys know a lot about that. His name is Anders Eriksson. He's the world's leading expert on expertise. He didn't find any examples of people who had such a big talent for what they did, that they just went straight to the top without working hard. Neither he found anyone who worked hard but didn't get much better. The decisive factor is who wants it most, who's willing to invest the most. So as he said to me, Rasmus, there are good news and there are bad news. The good news, becoming good is possible for much more people than we think. The bad news, he said, is fucking hard. So be an expert in your field. They think you don't become that with less than 10,000 hours of practice. That is the same as 2 hours and 44 minutes every day for 10 years. So why do they become good in playing football in Brazil? Because due to my calculations, a Brazilian boy could potentially reach his 10,000 hours at the age of 13, playing in the streets every day. A Swedish boy practicing 3 times a week would reach his 10,000 hours in his late 20s. So when we think we see talent, what we really see may be somebody who practiced 10,000 hours consciously or unconsciously in an early age. How many hours are you going to practice to become good business leaders? Maybe it applies to you as well. So how many of you in this room today like challenges? Can I see a hand? How many would say you like challenges? Yeah? Good. How many will come here and take a challenge now on the stage? That's a few. Many hands go down. Because you're in the comfort zone. How many like I like challenges, sure. Who will come up here? Now there's a chance for looking stupid, not looking good. Then the unconscious mind starts to communicate, emergency, don't go up there, that guy is crazy. And then you stay in the comfort, there's no improvement in that. There's a big difference between looking good and getting better. And take that into organizations. This is a typical scheme in an organization. Top management says failure is not an option, and human resource team says dare to fail, dare to fail. What do they mean? Are they both right, or who's right? Failure is an option, but fear is not. Because what is a winner really? What is a winner? A winner is a loser who has evaluated himself. So thank you very much for listening, and all the best creating gold mines out there. Thank you.